Well, a lot of people are happy with what they see in D.C., but not so happy with what's going on in Austin or what's going on with the city council. And, you know, some of the news sounds good, but then when you scratch under the surface, turns out that that's not as good as it originally sounded. And I don't think you can hate this Texas state legislative session enough. I think this is the worst thing that you've probably seen in your entire life. And it's not just the things that they did or didn't do. It's the mandate of the voters who are overwhelmingly sending the message down there to cut property taxes, give us school choice. And so you do what you think you have to do, go down to the ballot box and you support the party that claims to be going in that direction. And then when they get down there, they totally abandon it. So if you feel abandoned, it's because you're right. You were. 800-288-9227. This is Jana in Nakona. You're on WBAP. What do you think?
Yes, I was calling with a quick question. Can't we stop it by contacting our senators? This would have to be approved by them as well.
Stop
correct?
What?
The crazy things that the House is trying to pass.
The National Institute of Health thing?
Right. Yes.
Oh. Yeah, it does have to go through both houses. I think it will, but I don't know if it has already. The soundbite that I played from Brian Harrison earlier made it sound like it's already a done deal. But the frustrating part is like the good news. It sounds good that we have a DOGE in Texas, the Department of Government Efficiency. But when you go look at the people who are running it and their priorities, they have no damn intent of cutting government. In fact, they've already passed the budget that grew government. So it doesn't matter what DOGE does for the rest of this year and next year. It's already set in stone. It's petrified now. There's no cuts to be made. You've already spent the money. So yeah, we're going to go looking for those cuts after you've already done the budget. Now, that's not how this works. You look for cuts before you do the budget, then you put those cuts in the budget, and then you pass the budget. So no, even the stuff that kind of sounds like a glimmer of hope or the silver lining on a rain cloud, it's even more disappointing when you get closer to it.
Because the budget's already been approved by the Senate as well, is what or it doesn't have to be?
Yeah.
Okay, it's already been through. Oh, wow. Okay. Well, then we need to get rid of all of them. I'm with you on that.
Well, not all of them. Like Brian Harrison. Find the ones that actually did what their voters sent them
to do.
Yeah. And so we
Can you share the information on how to get that list? You said your email, but you haven't given it out yet. Do you plan
James at WBAP.com. I'm sorry, I just assume people listen enough to know that. No, James at WBAP.com. That's my fault. I should probably say that more, Jana. I appreciate the reminder.
Okay. No problem. Well, thank you for taking my call.
Of course. Well, listen, when I say just get a hold of me, I don't like to be specific because people get a hold of me 8 different ways now. This is 2025. So sometimes people send me a direct message on Instagram or on X/Twitter, or they find me my email, or they comment on like I'm streaming the video now. If you comment on it, whatever you're on, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, it pops up here. And so I don't know how you prefer to get a hold of me. You can find me. It's 2025. I'm a public figure. I know I have a painfully generic name. But okay. I'll be happy to give everyone. And it's pinned to the top of my X account. If you have Twitter/X and you find James Parker Show, I just have it pinned so that post stays at the top.
Well, thank you so much. And again, I appreciate you taking my call.
You're so nice. Thank you, Jana. I almost like the people that call me names more. I'm almost embarrassed when I get compliments in public like that. Yeah, and the other embarrassing thing that I kind of alluded to was the city of Dallas. There's a report that came out on Friday that's really convenient for the media dumps. They release a report that's going to make them look bad at about 4:36 on a Friday, so no one will really report on it until maybe the next Monday. But maybe there's other things that happen that knock it off of the headlines. But this one's not getting past me. The city of Dallas wasted $28 million of your taxpayer dollars for a office building project that's not even that old. It's not like, well, we bought this 20 years ago and now it's dilapidated and had to be abandoned. No, that's not it at all. They just bought this 3 years ago. They got it for $14 million. And they put another $14 million in it to get it up to snuff so they could use it for offices for the development department. Oh, my goodness. These people that try and slow everything down with permits and I guess is what's going to be stuck in here. But the horrible part is, after they did all the work and they moved the people in, which was just recently, they've already had to abandon them and move them to another office space because this building isn't functional. This building doesn't work. It has all kinds of things going wrong with it. It has plumbing issues. It has water leaks. But it's even worse than that. Most of the floors in this building, the fire alarm doesn't work. It's illegal to operate this building. Like, you wouldn't be, if you tried to operate this building, they'd come shut you down in a second because it's not up to code. But the one thing I would like to see from these stories is we hear them all the time. Here's what we don't hear: the follow-up on where someone got arrested, where someone got charged with a crime. Sometimes they might get sued, so, taxpayers can recoup, or there'll be a settlement of some sort. But forget that. And when you have fiascos like this, someone needs to start going to jail. I was saying the same thing about the Obama solar power plant that failed. This was from a report last Friday, and someone needs to go to jail for this.
The solar plant went live 10 years ago and was supposed to produce clean power for at least 30 years. Instead of solar panels, it uses giant mirrors to concentrate the sun's energy on these towers, which boil water, generating steam, creating electricity.
It's going to put about 1,000 people to work, building a state-of-the-art facility.
As part of his climate agenda, President Obama gave Ivanpah $1.6 billion in federal loans, a $535 million grant, a 30% tax credit worth about $600 million, and an accelerated depreciation schedule that allowed investors to write off their capital investment in just 5 years.
If you go into the Treasury Department and you open the vault and you take $2 billion and you walk out with it, they would slap handcuffs on you. Yeah, you stole from the taxpayers. But if you go tell them you're going to build a solar plant for the next 30 years and it only operates for a few years and you get to keep the rest of the money, isn't that the same thing? Isn't that you're just stealing from the taxpayers? And this just happens over and over and over with every failed idea, with we've got to study the idea of a high-speed light rail from Dallas to Houston. We're going to spend $62 million studying it. No, you're stealing $62 million from the taxpayers to go study. Here, let me study it. How about no? Is the answer ever no? No. But until someone goes to jail, what's their incentive to not do this? What's their incentive to not rip off the taxpayers? Oh, what? Someone's going to call you bad names? You're going to ruin your reputation on future projects? Oh, don't revamp another building with him. He has screwed up that building project over here on Stemmons. No, you already walked away with $14 million or whatever you were able to pocket. You'll be fine. That's I think the incentive structure is just not set up properly, and these people need to start going to jail. This is theft of your money, and I don't understand why people aren't torches and pitchforks for this guy or for this situation like they are for, I don't know, Free Palestine or Abrego Garcia or Stop Deportations or Hands Off or whatever the protest of the week is. I think they got another one coming up this week. Yeah, I think they're demanding paper straws come back or something. I don't know. 800-288-9227. 800-288-9227. Does everyone else agree? Like, shouldn't these people go to jail if you do a project that fails that bad? Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth is getting a lot of headlines here. Some people are thinking he needs to step down because of, they say, the Pentagon's in deep turmoil. Well, of course, that's what they're going to say. They're not going to say he's doing a great job. We just want him to step down. But I'm trying to figure out what counts as turmoil. A couple of group chats? That can't be it, is it? Let's ask Damian Fortune. He's a cybersecurity expert, my next guest on The James Show. Damian, what exactly is Pete Hegseth being asked to step down for?
Yeah, so what it really comes down to is a violation of the policies around information security, right? There are systems in place for confidential information. There are systems in place for sensitive information, and there are systems in place for public information. And the problem that Hegseth keeps running into is he's using the wrong system for the really sensitive stuff. The system that he's using, unfortunately, is one that's been compromised, or that we believe has been compromised by the bad guys, so that information can be out there and in the wrong hands.
So the Signal group chats is what he's in trouble for?
Yeah, correct.
All right. So is there a law around this that he could be prosecuted for?
So it's not a law. There are policies around what are the approved communication channels for things. It could fall under the broad umbrella of various types of information leaking. That some of those go as extreme as treason and things like that. And in this case, I don't think it was really intentional, so I don't think we're going to go that far. But there are ways that he could be in trouble.
What would you recommend if you're trying to keep your classified info group chats from being found out by the outside world? Is there an app that you would prefer to Signal?
Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of great options out there. My company makes one called Glyph that's designed more for the business and enterprise side.
Is that like hieroglyph?
Yeah, exactly right. Uh-huh.
What does Glyph do? How is it different?
So we use encryption technology that's resistant against all the latest and greatest stuff that the bad guys are using, as well as the quantum computing stuff that's coming down the pike. And the real thing that's different about our platform versus Signal is the administrative stuff. We have a lot more control over who can see the chats, who can get in them, who can add people, all of that sort of stuff, what information is saved. And that's really where Signal falls down. It's an app for privacy, individual privacy. It's not really designed for agencies and organizations.
Man, my lawyer friends, I guess they're real paranoid about information getting out. They like to use Snapchat and Telegram. Are they fooling themselves, or is there a little more security in those than just regular text? Those are dangerous. Telegram's owned by the Russians, for what it's worth. But yeah, there are definitely safer alternatives out there. All right. So what do you think is going to happen with this Pete Hegseth thing? Is that out of your jurisdiction, or do you have a theory?
Look, I think that 2 strikes is starting to get a little dangerous. We saw a lot of turnover in the first Trump administration. So, there's kind of a precedent for this sort of stuff. I think he's in a lot of trouble.
Okay. Damian Fortune, cybersecurity expert. Thank you very much for your insight on the James Show.
Thanks so much. Take care.
Appreciate it. All right, we have WeatherCon. It's coming up this Saturday. This is going to count for the James Show listener meetup. Y'all can meet me and meet each other, the most important part. But what a great setting for this. It's at the Frontiers of Flight Museum. If you hadn't been, that's worth the price of admission, which happens to be free because it's sponsored by Blue Ribbon Roofing. But the Frontiers of Flight Museum still has all those, many of the exhibits up and the planes that the kids can actually climb into over in the Kids Center. There's a module from an Apollo mission, if that really happened. Ha ha ha. But come on out, because in addition to the Frontiers of Flight Museum, there's going to be a bunch of booths that are set up by people who are either doing demonstrations or something weather related or something educational for the kiddos. There's going to be a face painter for the kiddos. There's going to be a little science guy doing a demonstration for the kiddos. In the theater, there's going to be stuff that's a little more adult weather related. The Storm Chasers have their trucks and some of their equipment out there. They'll do a presentation. Brad Barton will be there with the meteorologist from Fox 4. And there's a lot of cool stuff if you're a weather enthusiast, or if you're looking to get your kid interested in something somewhat educational and a little sciencey. This is perfect for that. And the best part, it's free. Absolutely free. So come on out, 9:30 until 1:30 at the Frontiers of Flight Museum. It's by Love Field. If you don't know where it's at, your phone knows, so just ask your phone. But you can come out, meet me. You can meet Brad Barton, Dan Henry from Fox 4. Hal J should be there. I don't think Garrett's going to end up being there, but Blue Ribbon Roofing's 2025 WeatherCon from News Talk 820 and 93.3 WBAP and our friends over at Fox 4. Coming up next, you're going to love this. Your favorite Congresswoman, Jasmine Crockett, was on Jimmy Kimmel last night. I'll play you some of the highlights next. I'm James Parker. It's News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Bob Lavelle from Home Marketing Services. You probably saw this. More houses were closed on in North Texas in March than any other metropolitan area. We were the number one housing market. So some people are getting the message. Now is a good time to buy.
At least, in the DFW area, you can say that it's not only a great time to buy. People sense it. They feel it. They know that home builders are doing deals. People that are selling pre-owned are doing deals. And why? Who knows? The interest rates have been, coming down slowly. But you can always refinance if it gets better yet. But you got to start someplace, and it's a good time in North Texas to do that.
How is inventory looking right now, Bob?
They are so overloaded, builders are, with inventory right now. That's part of what's pushing this, James. When a builder has 300-400 suspects on the ground, that they built on speculation, and it's getting close to completion time. It's ready. They are ready to make deals. So, yes, absolutely.
All right. Well, if you're ready to get out of the rent race, get a deal of your own, or maybe if you're already a homeowner and you're looking to upgrade into that dream home, start with Bob Lavelle, 972-392-9595, 972-392-9595. He's got the website blessyourheart.com or 972-392-9595. And Bob will make it happen for you. Thanks, Bob. I know you think Jasmine Crockett says crazy things, but what you have to realize is there's a lot of people out there who like what she's saying, who don't think it's crazy. I know it's hard to understand when you have a different worldview. Some of the stuff that comes out of someone's mouth that you totally disagree with can be heard completely different by people who share that worldview. She's a star. She's not an idiot. She's not dumb. When we had the discussion a couple weeks ago, who's the dumbest member of Congress, I had a few people saying Jasmine Crockett in the comments on social media. Wrong. Absolutely wrong. Now, is she doing a little code switching depending on who's putting the microphone in front of her face? Yeah, but is that dumb? No, that's not dumb. Is she saying things that make you slap your forehead that sound like something a dumb person would say? Maybe on some of these occasions. But I think you're all making a big mistake if you discount the rising star that is Jasmine Crockett. Now, I'm not saying we should go out and vote for her or we'd be better off if we had more Jasmine Crocketts in Congress. But I submit that if we had to get our Democrat friends in a room and pick who their ticket is going to be in 2028, it would be AOC on top and Jasmine Crockett in the VP slot. She is a star. Who else? Who else was on Kimmel last night? Yeah, right. Jasmine Crockett's on Kimmel. You hadn't heard of her a year ago. Now she's everywhere. She's on the Sunday shows. She's showing up on ABC, NBC, CBS. She's now on Kimmel. And let me just play you about 2 minutes of this. And I don't know. How come everyone doesn't see this? Like, of course I disagree with her, but she's one of the best things they've got going right now. Who else is the titular head of the Democrat movement right now? Chuck Schumer? Exactly. Nancy Pelosi? No one's listening to her, not even on Team Blue. So here's Jasmine, the congresswoman for the district I'm sitting in right now, Jasmine Crockett.
I think it's fair to say you're the most entertaining member of Congress right now, yeah?
I don't know.
Is that something that you do or intentionally because you know people will pay attention more if something is kind of funny or if it's delivered in a natural way?
I think that people are over politicians trying to politic. I think that they want people to truly represent them and the frustration and the annoyance and even some of like the comical stuff. Like, look at Pete, right? Like, because we.
All right. So far, like in this first 30 seconds, she sounded like my callers from the last two segments saying what the people want is politicians not politic and to represent them, to actually do the job that they were sent there to do. Well, that's what we were just saying about the guys in Austin. So one thing you have to listen for, is she really like ideologically opposed to you? Or is she saying platitudes that would fit any politician in any situation at any time and just skirting through because she looks good on camera? She sounds good on a microphone. She interacts well. She's not socially awkward. She's young. She's pretty. And she's going to get nothing but good exposure. I mean, look at how nice Jimmy Kimmel is here. Oh, the most entertaining person in Congress. But I don't get the idea that she's some sort of ideological socialist, like a stalwart, like an AOC or a Bernie Sanders. He's always talking about oligarchy and the millionaires, billionaires, and the socialist stuff. She doesn't.
Love DUI hires, right? But, you know, like, I mean, like, I think that it's fair that, like, people are like, yo, like, this is a joke, right? No, it's not. It's like this terrible nightmare. And literally, I really do know that it is a nightmare for so many people, not just here, but across the world. I get emails from all over this world with people that are fearful because of the lack of leadership that they're seeing right now on the federal level here in the United States.
Lack of leadership. We're stripping.
Stop. Is she countering you right now? Is she destroying your philosophical underpinnings? No. In fact, you don't know anybody who's out there saying, boy, we have such a lack of leadership out there. I have friends that will gripe about property taxes. I even have friends that will gripe about the tariffs or the stock market going down. But no one is waiting in line at Walmart and overhearing the people behind them. It's like, man, here's what we need. We just need more leadership. We have a lack of leadership in D.C., and that's why my life's going terrible. So she's never arguing against you, or I should say she's rarely arguing against you. I still have the feeling that she's one of the people that in 10, maybe 20 years, she's going to switch sides. She may end up on Team Red because she's very rarely saying things that are antithetical to Team Red or even positive about Team Blue. Anyway, we continue with her on Kimmel.
Stripping the country down where it really, I don't know if that we'll ever know how much damage will have been done, because some of the things are very much under the radar.
Yeah.
And you get to see that kind of stuff. You get to see the things that are being taken away, these things that are important to Americans that aren't. Like, I mean, we do pay attention to Pete Hegseth and we pay attention to Elon Musk and whatnot, but the little things are the things that are really are terrifying, aren't they?
No, it really is. But let me tell you something. We really don't know how much damage they're causing. Like, when I tell you that the level of incompetence is almost like incomprehensible, it is so bad. And when you bring up the idiot known as Elon Musk,
Now, hang on. This is another good learning point. The idiot Elon Musk. Now, you don't believe he's an idiot. I don't believe he's an idiot. I don't think Jasmine Crockett actually thinks he's an idiot. But did you hear the response it got from the crowd? That's why she said it. That's why she's a rising star. Jasmine Crockett knows Elon Musk isn't an idiot. I mean, this is a guy who did an electric car company, a rocket company, the Boring Company, Neuralink, PayPal. This guy has a record of accomplishment and success far beyond what almost all of his other peers in our lifetime have ever done. So no, definitely not an idiot. But did you hear the response? She got a bunch of people who were like-minded excited with that phrase. She knows what to say.
Only like very sinister and has no idea of what he's doing. And people are like, oh no, he absolutely knows because he's the richest man in the world. Like, yes, he knows how to hire smart people, but don't conflate that and believe that he is the genius, because he ain't. And so he has inflicted so much harm and done so much that even Trump don't want to talk about it. When the last time you heard about Elon?
Not much. You don't see him that much.
No?
Yeah, well, we never hear about Elon. But this woman's clever. But she doesn't ever actually argue against you, or against me, I should say. I don't know if you believe the same thing I do. But yeah, why do you hate what the Republicans are doing? Because capitalism is bad for the average American out there? Because socialism is better than capitalism? Because anything economic? Nah, just a bunch of incompetence. The level of incompetence is just mind-blowing. That's why you support it? That's why you're against them? Because it's chaos up there? Because it's children running around? Well, you're never actually talking about policy or anything even philosophical with a backing. Just incompetence, whatever. That's all you got? All right, well, that's not so bad. But make no mistake about it, she's not dumb. She's playing the game. She's doing a real good job playing that game. I am here to take a stand in favor of the dyes that they're trying to ban. James, this can't be healthy for you. Oh, stop it. Stop it. I had to watch, I'm in a group chat with my wife and some of her friends, and they pass around these videos all the time about how everything gives you cancer. Well, you can't have sugar. That's bad for you. High fructose corn syrup, a sugar alternative, even worse. Well, what about like aspartame or sucralose? Oh, no, that'll give you cancer too. Well, if everything gives you cancer, then nothing gives you cancer. That's how I feel about the red dye number 5 or whatever it is. Remember when we were kids? Garrett's not going to remember this, but Garrett, did you know that they got rid of the red M&M when I was a kid for like a decade or so? Yeah, so when I was really young, we had the full complement of M&M colors. And then one day, red dye number whatever was outlawed, and they took away the red M&M. And so for the rest of my childhood, there was no more red M&M. And I know it's not that like sad, like, oh no, how are you going to survive without all of red M&Ms? But no, it was ridiculous because there was no measurable improvement of health among kiddos when they got rid of red dye number 5. In fact, that's when we started getting fat as hell. And you'll notice that the more the government intervenes into an industry, the worse it gets. That counts for health too. Do you remember the food pyramid that they taught us when we were kids, where at the base of the food pyramid was like your grains, like your wheat and your corn and your rice and your bread. And then on top of that, there were the plants and animals, like the fruits and vegetables. And then on top of that was like meat and dairy. And then on top of that was your sweets that you're supposed to eat sparingly. Well, it turns out like the thing that they told you to eat the most, half the people I know have cut all of those out of their diet now, whether they're on keto or Atkins or just, that's the empty carb layer. That was the foundation of what the government told you was good nutritional advice when you were a kid. Empty carbs. How dumb is that now? Please, I mean, here, what was the number one thing you were supposed to eat when you were in third grade? Gluten, basically. Now what's gluten? It's like the scariest thing in the world. Probably gives you cancer. Oh, it's scary. So red dye number 5, you people, they don't know. And I'm not saying RFK is wrong about everything, but of all of the angles that we need to take to make us more healthy, food dye is not even in the top 100. Because the number one thing, and it's not popular, and it's not going to make me cool, and it's not going to get me any new listeners here, the number one thing we all need to do in order to be more healthy is what? Exercise. Duh. Get off our fat butts and move. Take the stairs. Don't take the elevator. Work out. Lift heavy weights. Do it on a regular basis until you have muscle fatigue. But that's not popular. That's not what people want. That's not what sells. You know what sells? Something that happens in a distant capital. Someone writes some legislation and they pass it, and now they've banned this dye. And now all of a sudden, feel moral credit for being healthier. Yes, we've made the world a healthier place. No, you haven't, because you just sat on your butt the whole time. It's the illusion of helping out with health. It's the illusion that you've done something right. You know what else sells? A pill. Maybe a shot, but a pill. Everyone who's lost the millions of tons of fat off of their backsides from the Ozempics and the semaglutides, I'm not saying they're bad shots. Obviously, they worked. But you always had the option to lose that weight if you could have either A, restricted your calorie intake, or B, increased your caloric use. Exercise. Y'all have always had the ability to be this skinny. You just did it because this was easy. And everybody likes an easy answer. No, we don't have to be more vigilant about our own self-defense. We'll just ban guns. No, we don't have to actually take steps to be more healthy. We'll just ban food. You don't have to go do cardio or lift weights. We'll just ban things that we don't like. So no. I think of if you're trying to make this country healthier, bringing up food dye is just a waste of time, energy, resources, and it's a restriction. Give me all the food dye I want. Put me next to a guy who's the same age and the same height and whatever, and he'll never exercise, but I'll eat food dye and exercise. Guess who's going to be healthier in a year? That's right, me. Of all the things we're worried about, food dye, food dye. You sound like the people that are like, 5G, I'm allergic to 5G. I have to wear this space blanket like on Better Call Saul. So much bad science has come out of government. And how bad did it have to be during COVID for you to say whatever they say about health or nutrition or science from here on out, I'm taking it with not a grain of salt, a boulder of salt. A piece of salt that's the size of your house is how you should take every bit of health advice that comes out of the government. These were the geniuses that lied to you saying, well, masks work. Masks will keep you safe. We have the Cochrane study. Mask wearing, mask mandates did absolutely nothing. Oh, they take this vaccine. It'll be great. What could possibly go wrong? Was that good advice? Stopping you from going to church or going to your grandmother's funeral, did that turn out to be sound advice? Or was it just tyrants restricting you for funsies to see what they could get away with? People who thought they were helping, people who thought they were doing the healthy thing, people who were following bad science turned around and committed basic constitutional atrocities, restricting the freedom of assembly, the freedom of religion, the freedom of movement. That's what good intentions got us. And these good intentions here, I smell the same thing. How about government? If you want me to be healthy, why don't you just butt out? Because you have never helped anyone be healthy once in your life. You have a terrible record of failure. And I don't think red dye number 5 is going to help anything except just, hey, a new power to government. Great. Oh, I guess we're healthy now. Anyway, that's my food dye rant. I'm a bit of a skeptic on that. If you have any more comments on it, you can send me an email or Facebook message. But that's going to do it for the James Show today. Stick around. Mark Levin's coming up next. I'm about to get out of here and go put up the podcast, which you can find at WBAP.com. The WBAP app, or really those other apps that are owned by other companies that you already listen to podcasts on. Go search me. I'll probably pop up there. I know. It's not my preference, but you're going to do it anyway, aren't you? I'm James Parker. This has been The James Show. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3.